Buckle up. First of all, hey, hi, hello. I'm Lips. We're watching Severance Season 2, Episode 8 today. But I have thoughts, feelings, analyses, theses, an essay about Episode 7. Freaking phenomenal episode. Thank you to everyone who watched that. And okay, I'm going to be really honest with you. I read half of Tolstoy's The Death of Ivan Ilyich. And then I overwhelmed myself and I looked up like a synopsis, and I found on Reddit from Sir Plessum, someone said, I read The Death of Ivan Ilyich so you wouldn't have to. And actually, you know what? Thank you. Because I did read half of it. And it wasn't that I wasn't like, I was finding value in it and in terms of like reading it and whatnot, but also like every single second I was reading that was holding me back from starting this recording and watching episode 8. And I just couldn't stand for that because this is already, I feel like, going to be such a long intro. I already have so much to say. So if you're not, you probably are aware, but if you're not aware, the reason why I was looking into this specific Tolstoy story is because it's mentioned not once but twice in Severance Season 2, Episode 7. And specifically at the very beginning, Gemma is reading a paper, presumably of one of her students wrote about the themes of religious conversion in Tolstoy's The Death of Ivan Ilyich. And so we're going to go over, well, first I'm going to read, I had pulled out a few quotes whilst I was reading, but then the person who posted this thing on Reddit pulled out a few more quotes, and we're going to go over all of those. Okay. So the ones that I have, in law school, he had committed acts which had formerly seemed to him of great vileness and had inspired a feeling of self-loathing in him at the time he committed them. But subsequently, seeing that such acts were also committed by highly placed people and were not considered bad, he, without really thinking about them good, forgot all about them and was not troubled in the least by the memory of them. This specifically I pulled out because it reminded me of Bert. If you know, you know. As life became more irritable and demanding, Ivan Ilyich transferred the center of gravity to his life to his work. And then the last quote that I pulled out specifically, and the rest he sought, cheerfulness, pleasantness, and in it he found he was very grateful. If he met with resistance and peevishness, he at once retired to his own separate fenced-off world of work and found pleasantness in it. Oh, sure, whatever. I don't know. Love that one as much. It's a really interesting story, and I'm not super familiar with Tolstoy, but so I don't really know what all of his works are like, but I think there was even like a different Tolstoy mentioned in this episode. But my understanding of the gist of the story is that it's this man who dies. We start the story by learning that he died and that his colleagues are like, oh, that's sad, but I'm happy it wasn't me. And also like, what benefits do I get from him dying? I get to move up in this world. So this Ivan Ilyich guy is like some middle of the income space. He's bringing in like a mid-level income. He likes his wife at first. Then the more when they're married and they have kids and she gets too demanding, they like kind of everything in his life kind of becomes monotonous and draining and like transactional, very much including his relationship. And so then he starts pouring himself into work because that is where he like finds value in his life. And they lost a lot of kids. They had a lot of kids die. Okay. But then at the end of Ivan's life, he like looks at his family and he has regrets, and he's like, oh, I think I spent my whole life focusing on the wrong thing. And I think I've had this realization in my own life multiple times without being on my deathbed. And I'm curious if you guys have had this too. I imagine a lot of people have. But I think sometimes it takes something, like for me, it took like a company going through layoffs, and it took the pandemic, and it took like those things like that kind of reshook the foundation of life and the world around me, that made me look back and go, ooh, wait, actually, I think I let my whole entire personality become my job. And that's really interesting when we're watching this show where somebody has separated themselves to avoid something. And at first I go, well, okay, yeah, so Annie's whole personality is their job. But then you see these characters. You see Dylan, who is so like bubbly and excited, and he's curious, and he's like, he sees everything that he does with this like endearing nature, and something that like his wife, his Audie's wife, is clearly like, I like this about this Innie version of you. She's found something in Innie Dylan that she's not getting from Audie Dylan. And I think that, and then with the Helle thing, it's like sorry, now that you guys have told me I pronounced her name wrong, I'm so in my head about pronouncing it, whatever. She sees her Innie having love, having friendship, having like, I don't know, a backbone. Don't kill me, Helena, don't kill me. And so it's interesting because it's like, it's almost like, oh, well, isn't that kind of nice? So maybe like the Innies are like, you know, maybe the Innies are living like the best life, but then it's like, obviously the Innies don't exist without the Audies. I think it's really complicated. Okay, but let's read through these quotes that this guy pulled out. So he what I like about this, the person who wrote this post, is that they put it into bullet points of the themes within the show. So the first one that we have is reintegration of dual minds, and there's 3 quotes in here. It was as if he were listening not to a voice that spoke in sounds, but to the voice of his soul, to the course of thoughts arising in him. What do you want was the first clear idea, expressible words that he heard. What do you want? What do you want? He repeated to himself. What? Not to suffer, to live, he replied. And again, he gave himself entirely to such intense attention that even the pain did not distract him. To live how? Asked the voice of his soul. Yes, to live as I lived before, nicely, pleasantly. As you lived before, nicely and pleasantly, asked the voice. Interesting. For me, let me think. What do I want? I want to live a life filled with connection, and I want to live a life where I get to be creative every day. And I think I'm barely scratching the surface in terms of creativity. And I think something that I really appreciate about this show is it forces me to sit with and consider like all of the work I put on to myself. As someone whose main source of income comes from content creation, it's a really interesting world to live in and think about. Like, I love all of the things that I put out. To some extent, the reaction side of things is like the bare minimum of what I want to be doing. It's like, doesn't even scratch the surface of the creative projects that I'd like to put out, you know? And what I really like about like this show is it gets me into this kind of like analysis and themes, and it breaks me into something that starts to feel a little bit more creative. And I think that like the editing of this and then the like sitting down and like really digging into each episode is it's awakening something in me that I was always supposed to be the point. And I remember when I first started reactions, when I did The Last of Us season 1, I had an ending thoughts that were just as long as like the edited reaction, and somebody shamed me for it, and I was like, people don't want that. And so I stopped doing, like, if you go and you look at my first Game of Thrones reactions, I would like end them and be like, okay, thanks for joining, bye. And it was all because one comment led me to believe that nobody wanted that. And so I stopped. So dumb. And then I kind of started to like become very bland because I read all these comments like hating just me as a person, because people aren't always going to like you, and the people who don't like comment as much, which is a weird way that the internet works. We're not as like inspired to say nice things as like when people who are just like haters to their core don't like something, they feel the need to tell you that they don't like what you're doing, but a lot of times it's like subjective, and it's just like, I think that it's done when you do this. Gosh, it's unwanted and unsolicited, in their mind, advice, but it's not really advice. It's just subjective. You just don't like me, and that's okay. I'm learning how to like unscrew myself from some of the comments that I've read that I took as constructive criticism and feedback from a creative lens, instead of just like somebody's opinion based on just maybe the fact that they just don't like me. So anyway, I'm working on that day by day, and this reminds me of that. Okay, this next quote. And he started to go over in his imagination the best moments of his pleasant life. But strange thing, all those best moments of his pleasant life seemed now not at all as they had seemed then. All except for his first memories of childhood. There in childhood there had been something really pleasant. Which one could live with if it came back? But the man who had experienced that pleasure was no more. Have you ever really loved something? Loved a place? I've had this experience with travel. Loved a certain place, tried to go back, and it didn't resonate the same. It didn't feel the same. It was as if the memory was about someone else. As soon as that began, the result of which was he, the Ivan Ilyich of today, all that had then seemed like joys melted away and turned into something worthless and often vile. And the further from childhood, the closer to the present, the more worthless and dubious were those joys. Ooh, okay, love this one. This one specifically because we have this like childlike aspect of the innies, and like that's kind of the whole essence of them, right? Is this that they have like childlike brains. There is like, we are blank slates as we grow up, and we pile on expectations and we pile on desires, and we live in a world that we have to live within these boundaries, and some of them are good, right? Like some like laws that we have keep people safe, and then there's some rules, regulations, and even laws that are there more for control or more for somebody else's profit, and we live in a very capitalistic society where like you have to work so hard to get such little things in life, and we waste, like the whole point of living is not to work. But we get this moment as in childhood to like live and just exist. And some children don't get that. Some children have to grow up a lot earlier. Some children have to like grow up and be mature and be like bring in money and be more productive in their household at an earlier age. And some people get to be a little more relaxed and a little more free and find the things to be able to find a life where you get to fulfill yourself day to day is very, very rare. But like that is what we should be. Like that is what I am striving for. I'm not striving to be like the richest person in the world. I'm striving to support myself off of things that I find creative and fun, and that I'm not changing any lives by what I do by any means, but maybe in the future, if there was more disposable income, I could do certain things. I could do that. I do. Now we're getting off on a tangent, right? But we get so lost in the need to survive sometimes that we mistake and confuse what we need to do to survive with productivity and passion and self-worth. What's interesting about the innies is that the innies don't have bills to pay. They don't have bills to pay. They don't have a home to go back to. They don't like work. You would think that work is all that they have because that's the only place they exist, but they exist in a world without the shackles of surviving. Well, they do have to survive in the workplace, but like they're not there to work to pay bills. They're there to work because they've been forced to be there, and that's the only place they exist. So they actually get this like super rich life in a way. Obviously, their circumstances are horrendous, but there's something to be dug into there. And I'm obviously not glorifying Lumon. Lumon is not on the path of caring about their employees. Let's make that extremely clear. Okay, using medicine to avoid pain is their second bullet point. He slept less and less. They gave him opium and began injections of morphine, but that did not relieve him. The doctor came out to the drawing room and informed someone that things were very bad, and that the only remedy was opium to ease his suffering, which must be terrible. He was given a large dose of opium and became oblivious, but at dinner time, the same thing began again. He drove everything away and thrashed from side to side. And that's kind of what we see with people who get severed, right? It's like getting severed is almost this like emotional opium. It's this way for them to compartmentalize their life. And I don't know, I don't really, it's funny because the outies win in the situation where the innies win. The outies, they still have to live with everything that makes pain, and they still have to spend their day going to work. They just don't remember it, you know? But I get the thought that like, okay, well, at least mentally, I can just be sad. When I'm sad, I can just be sad, and I don't have to be sad and productive, you know? So I do get that. I guess that's where they win. Okay, the third bullet point, accepting inevitability of death. The example of a syllogism he had studied in Kiesewetters' logic. Caius is a man. Men are mortal. Therefore, Caius is mortal. Had seemed to him all his life to be correct only in relation to Caius, but by no means to himself. He sought his old habitual fear of death and could not find it. Where was it? What death? There was no more fear because there was no more death. Instead of death, there was light. I don't have anything to add about that right now. Sacrifice for the ones we love. Just then, Ivan Ilyich saw light, and it was revealed to him that his life had not been what it ought, but that it could still be rectified. He asked himself what was fight and grew still, listening. Here he felt that someone was kissing his hand. He opened his eyes and looked at his son. He felt sorry for him. His wife came over to him. He looked at her. She was gazing at him with despairing expression, opened mouth, and with unwiped tears on her nose and cheek. He felt sorry for her. Yes, I'm tormenting them, he thought. They're sorry, but it will be better for them when I die. Oh. He was sorry for them. He had to act so that it was not painful for them, to deliver them and deliver himself from these sufferings. Oof. We think about, maybe this is not a generalization for everyone, but there's a lot of living in my brain where I try not to burden people with my existence. You know what I mean? My feelings, my desire. I'm a people pleaser to my core, so that is part of it. But also I know enough about like kind of where that comes from. And yeah, it comes from people having made me feel like I was a burden to them for existing, for having joy, for having pain, for having sorrow, for having dreams that weren't theirs, you know? And I think that's frustrating, and it's sad, and I've never felt burdened by someone existing in the world around me, but it is so sad that some people, myself included, feel burdened for existing to other people. You know what is interesting about this person is they did no theming around the religious nature of the writing. I wrote down, there was one quote that I had written down in regards to religion in it before I decided we would use this guy's analysis, or quotes rather. Somebody had said, it's God's will, we'll all come to it someday, death. But I'd also written down that Ivan was really truly just going through the motions of society. Like the whole reason why he married his wife in that story was because she made sense, like people supported it from a societal standpoint. She was good enough or something. The way it was written was like, oh, he lived for like society, not for pleasure, not for deep pleasure, right? For the status quo. So what Mark was reading in that moment, also when he meets Gemma in that flashback, was All Quiet on the Western Front, drug use for enlisted soldiers during World War I. Also, phenomenal title for an essay. But secondly, I have been saying since like season 1, I think, that I have a theory that they've been using the severed process on military officials for a long time, and I think that Irving's dad was one of their test subjects. I don't know if it's important, but I just want to note again that Gemma was more afraid of drowning than suffocating in a mudslide. Both seem very similar. Drowning v suffocating. You do suffocate whilst you drown, don't you? But I guess maybe they're technically different. I'd be more afraid of suffocating, because don't you eventually, like, don't they say that eventually when you're drowning, you like go into like a peaceful state? Like it doesn't take too long. And then I will note, so when Gemma opens up the door and she sees the red dress, she does have an adverse reaction. She says, shit. So that makes me think that like she obviously, like at some point, if she's going into these rooms and she's feeling pain or she's feeling whatever, and then the doctor's coming in and being like, what room made you feel pain today? What room made you feel? She's going to have association with the outfits that are maybe negative. So that's not super surprising that she would say that. But it does make me wonder, like, if there's some sort of like, if she's not as severed as they think she is. Obviously, she's severed so many times, and she's the only person we know that is severed that much, that maybe she's like the first test subject like this. I think it's kind of scary, and I think there's probably glitches in the matrix of her mind that she's not as severed as like they think she is, but I think she knows to act severed. Gemma was also doing a lecture on another Tolstoy work titled Hajid Murad, which does relate to something called the resilient thistle. We see a shot of a thistle, I think it's a thistle, in the show in last episode. So it's a novella that contains a passage about a thistle that becomes a central metaphor. So in front of me and to the right of the road, I saw some kind of little clump, and drawing near, I found it was the same kind of thistle as that which I had vainly plucked and thrown away. This Tartar plant had 3 branches. One was broken and stuck out like the stump of a mutilated arm. Each of the other 2 bore flower, once red but now blackened. One stalk was broken, and half of it hung down with a soiled flower at its tip. The other, though also soiled with black mud, still stood erect. Evidently a cartwheel had passed over the plant, but it had risen again, and that was why. Though erect, it stood twisted to one side, as if the pieces of its body had been torn from it, its bowels drawn out, an arm torn off, and one of its eyes plucked out. Yet it stood firm, and it did not surrender to man who had destroyed all its brothers around it. Suddenly I remembered a story of Hadij Murat that I had heard long ago in the Caucasus. Like that torn thistle, he had tenaciously clung to life to the very end, and had died only because he was mown down. So obviously defiance, persistence, stubbornness. Notably, thistles thrive in harsh conditions where other plants can survive, which I think is really beautiful, but also very telling for very specifically Gemma's story. Obviously we see her, she's very strong. She wants to get back home to Mark, and she doesn't believe a damn thing that doctor is telling her. And I don't know where the cracks in her severed nature are, but I believe that they are there. So, also, motherfuckers, okay? Sorry, I didn't mean to call you that. That was rude of me. Oh my god, I've already been recording for 20 minutes. If this is going to be long. Okay, so I think we can kind of, the rest is not necessarily analyses of Tolstoy's work, which, blessed up. So, I did notice on the new patient intake form when they were going to get IVF treatment, there's a water drop icon. That's what it looks like to me. And it is the same pin that Gemma wears when she is on the severed floor. It is the same pin that Natalie wears also. Probably other people are also wearing it. So obviously how we get into Lumon probably correlates directly to when we went to go get the IVF treatment. And then obviously we know that place had sent her the cards, the like Chikai Bardo cards and whatever. So she got on that mailing list she mentioned later in the episode also. So like, just obvious. I'm taking that as the center point. Again, just reinforcing everything that I know or believe to be true, that like this entire state and city is run by Kier. So I did write down, I originally thought Gemma remembered nothing, but seeing it again, I think she remembers a lot. So I just think that's important to note. When I was watching it, I really truly thought that she was like severed, like clean breaks on the severed. But I think I also originally thought that like she chose to be there and like is Lumon through and through. But I don't think that anymore. And I think some of the things that I was seeing in her face were her like taking in people's bullshit and having to filter it so that they don't like kill her or something, you know? I wonder like what kinds of things they've done to her to punish her if she steps out of line. Oh, but I also will say there was a line that she said, "Can you please just talk like a normal person?" And it sounded so much like Harmony when she spoke. And I will just reiterate again, I still think that there's something to when they show a face on the left versus when they show it on the right. Like when they show the face like looking like this versus looking like this. Totally something to that. What it is yet, I don't know. I think it's symbolic though. Two more things. Well, okay, real quick. Ragabi leaving, being so afraid that she has to leave, I think is like very scary. That was a very harrowing moment for me when I was editing, because I totally think that means that like Lumon would kill her, which I have no doubt that they would. They killed PD. Well, they didn't kill PD. They killed that woman. What I'm thinking of, what I'm confusing that with, is they killed that woman in the story, the story that was released in between seasons 1 and 2. I can't remember what it's called. So Chikai Bardo, which is the name of the episode, and then also the card that we talk about in the episode, is ego death. Gemma tells us that. I was reading a little bit into it, and it's a totally big rabbit hole, and there's a literal death that we've been told to perceive of Gemma. Now, did she ever really die? Did they bring her back from the death? Was this all just a plan to kind of take her in? And I think for sure Lumon set this up. Whether she actually died in that car accident or she didn't die, I don't know. But what I do know is that everything was set up to bring Gemma into Lumon. They were definitely sending her tests. Everything was set up. I wouldn't even be surprised if they never actually gave her IVF medicine. And that is why they never got pregnant. I wouldn't be surprised at all. I will put nothing past Lumon. Again, anything a human can think up, Lumon will do and create that hell for us. But this ego death, like either you like kill your ego and you get like enlightenment, or your ego wins and you suffer in your afterlife. Ego equals suffering, though, is essentially a really, really, really dumbed down version of what you can take away from that. And I think that's interesting. Sure, you could use the word interesting. I think it's definitely harrowing. I think it's a lot. It's kind of a lot to take in. That's my very watered down interpretation of it. Okay. And then just a little note. So in the Christmas room, which is the scariest room, and I don't know, I'm not sure if when the guy's walking her away from the couch, if they're going to like canoodle or if he's walking her out. I don't know. I'm hoping he's just walking her out, but I wouldn't put it past them again. So the guy says to Gemma, "I love you." Gemma doesn't respond. And he said, "I said, I love you." And he responds. But also something you should know is that at the end of that episode, you probably already know this, but when Gemma's walking out the door, the last time Mark ever sees her alive, he's so wrapped up in what he's working on, and she goes, "I love you." And he doesn't respond. And she goes, "I said." And then he's like, "Oh, I love you too. Sorry." So she doesn't have to like fully say, "Hey, I said I love you," right? He like hears her say, "I said," and like realizes he didn't say it back. But I do think it makes me feel like they were listening. that the house was bugged. But it's a different house. It's a different house. It's not the house he lives in now. Which, then hell, that house is for sure bugged because it's owned by Lumon. I forget about that. Well, I didn't forget about that, but yeah. Also, though, I will say the ending shot of that episode is, it's like it fades from, we see Gemma walking back down the hallway after she comes back down in the elevator. And that is overlaid as it's like transitioning to we see Mark opening the door to the policeman. And the way that shot is very reminiscent of the title sequence, the opening title sequence, where Mark is like pulling his head open. Okay, let's get into the episode. This looks nice. Miss Cobel, Miss Selvig, what's your real name? Harmony? Baby, come back. You can put it all on me. I just want to know. So she had that shop, and just no one ever went to it. I was like, yeah, her shop is real. Or Lumon had a fake shop set up for her as a backstory. But that doesn't seem likely because, like, Lumon doesn't care if people know if you work at Lumon. But Lumon did care that she was spying on Mark. Oh. Like an idyllic little town? She seems shocked to see another human. Why is she still looking at him? Oh, okay. Devin, she did call. I kind of thought she wouldn't.
Hear about that clusterfuck up on North Pine?
Dutch Stevens kid.
How the fuck do you flip a 2-ton snowplow?
Oh.
Apple don't fall far from the dinner.
Oh.
Well, that's kind of you.
What are we trading here? Medicine?
Hey, Rose. You want a refill?
You can top me off anytime.
Wait, what is Harmony's mom's name? Why do I feel like it's that lady? I thought I would have assumed she was dead. That man recognizes her.
Harmony Cobel will flip my toboggan.
He's supposed to say that. Oh.
You want coffee?
Oh, okay.
No.
Tables are for paying customers.
Fine, then buy me a coffee.
Okay, what do we have over this guy?
The town is older than I remember. Frailer.
Yeah, around with the market readjustment from a few years ago and the fluctuating interest rates, there was a retrenchment from some of the core infrastructure investments.
It's a lot of big words.
I need a favor, but not here. Meet me at the factory.
What factory? He looks like he just saw a ghost. So not her mom. That other guy at the table seemed very interested in seeing her as well.
Get up. Close up for me.
The drippy pot coffee. I'm assuming Lumon fucked over this town and that they had like a bustling economy and then maybe not bustling. Those houses look pretty dilapidated, but like that people had jobs and now they don't really. Oh. Hey.
You know how fucked it is to ask me to come here.
I don't.
I need you to drive me to Sissy's.
Brother?
Oh,
Or someone named Sissy?
no thanks.
Okay. Not an option.
If they're watching the house, they'll recognize my car.
Oh. Uh-oh.
How much trouble are you in?
Enough.
Scary. Says a lot about everything.
You know, she still lives by the 9. Then you know she's a fucking pariah here.
I need to get something.
Why would I help you with anything?
We were once chums.
Chums.
Old colleagues lift each other up.
Colleagues. So he used to work for Lumon. So he gets it. Okay. Well.
Child fucking labor.
Oh. Because of the school. Yeah. They do love their child labor at Lumon. We know this.
Here, an Imogen. Right at the ether melt.
Oh, I didn't even see that. It said Lumon on the side.
Was she hacking up a lung at the time?
Oh. Oh.
I can smell it on you.
Oh, they're all sick there, aren't they? Pathetic.
Fuck you.
Fuck you, yeah.
You can help me or not.
Okay, well, be nice.
But I'll not be the punchy dummy for your resentments.
Okay. I'll let her have that. I'll let her have that. She's not... She worked for the villain. She's not... I mean, she may be a villain, but she's not the villain you're mad at. She just represents the institution that you resent. Lumon. Okay, I get it. So this was a factory town. The factory made everyone sick. Lumon abandoned them. Also then, making everyone poor. Oh! He doesn't give a fuck. Twice, Stefan. Twice, you call. She lives all the way out there? Can hardly see it. It's like an ant.
You're higher than a bearded vulture.
Oh. Well, they're all sick, aren't they? So that's why they're passing around medicine.
Tell her to drop dead for me.
Oh. Shit, okay. That's lovely.
You are not welcome here.
Get wrecked.
I do not want that huff peddler on my property.
Huff peddler.
You gave him his thirst for it.
Oh. What the frick? Harmony, age 12.
Do you want to come down here and tell me what this is all about?
Please, someone, tell me. So, Sissy Cobel. Wait, let me read that.
What have you done with my things?
Ooh, that was her room.
Sold to the poor.
They weren't yours to sell.
I sit in this house. You do not.
Ooh, ooh, ooh.
Has anyone been here?
No one comes here.
Or telephone?
A Mr. Drummond.
Mm.
What have you done, little mouse?
Don't call me little mouse.
Harmony!
I want the key to Mother's room.
That room stays shut until all who remember her sit with Kier.
Oh, you're still brainwashed by them? That must be why
do you
she's a
bring nothing
recluse.
but woe into my life.
Whoa, whoa. Hey,
Now it is you who cursed this house with woe.
hey, what about Frolic and whatever the other ones are? The Tempers.
What were her last words?
Do not test me.
Those were her last words, or those are what you're saying?
She said nothing. After you pulled the tube from her gullet.
Oh, ooh.
There was gratitude in her eyes to be freed from her suffering.
Yeah, ooh. She speaks like a
If only she had been a believer,
religious text. What?
perhaps she would have found solace in the 9.
Right. You are so manipulated. Why don't you work for Lumon? Why was it Harmony?
I didn't even get to say goodbye.
Your studies were more important. Mr. Egan saw Kier in you.
Oh, that's why. She was chosen from a young age, but Sissy wasn't.
And the Wintertide Fellowship. Even at the factory. No apprentice was more industrious than you.
Oof. Oof.
Such a disappointment. You
Wintertide Factory. Wintertide, that's where they're gonna send Miss Wong? But it's like dead. Is there a new Wintertide?
What did Drummond tell you?
Return and plead forgiveness, child.
You
The
suck.
Egans will grant it.
And show me mercy, just like you did with Mother.
Exactly. They'll pull your tube.
Where's the key?
All you will find in there is pain.
The Tempers.
Where is it?
I feel like this season's all about woe.
I found it!
Oh, that is sad. The lighting in this show is so good. I feel like they send messages with everything from the lighting to the, like, obviously they use like a lot of imagery in their shots. Like sometimes like they put that guy kind of like behind that chair that made it kind of look like he was caged in. What are you doing? Girl? I can't help thinking that there was a recall on these, wasn't there? It's not funny. It's sad. It's actually heartbreaking. Oh. She sounds like a whale.
I have to find it.
Find what?
Just give me a minute just to think.
Find what, indeed? What the frick? We don't have lights out here? A lantern?
I liked her.
You barely knew her.
She hated Lumon more than I did, so I needed to know.
Who?
At least she doesn't have to live with Sissy anymore.
Oh. The woman who died? The mom?
You want to get high?
Oh. Are you chloroforming yourself? Okay, well you didn't go as hard as he did.
Oh, I haven't done that since I was 8.
You were getting high at 8 years old? What?
You ready to man the vat for 10 hours?
Oh, 'cause child labor.
It's shameful that you sell it.
More shameful than... I think what's more shameful was you working for Lumon. But wait. This is a wrench in what I think about Harmony, because... Whoa! Thought it was her brother. He hates Lumon. The woman who died hated Lumon. If 2 plus 2... You know what she's looking for then?
What you're looking for.
What is it? And where is it? I think Harmony hates Lumon. Let's go.
And throw it away.
Then what would she do with it? She would put it somewhere safe. Bury it. Oh my god, maybe the children really do yearn for the mines. Annual reminiscences. On valid Victorian Harmony Cobel. Jamie Egan. Let me read shit. Whoa. Ooh.
Find it?
Sure did.
I'm going. Don't tell them I was here.
I would never bear falsity to a steward of the Edens.
Girl, don't make me kill you.
Lumon destroyed this town.
Yeah.
There was no town before the factory.
Oop. They gotcha.
Everything that you have, you owe back to the Egans as fealty.
That's how they control you, sissy.
Fealty? Mine! My designs!
Whoa, what?
Circuit blueprint, base code, overtime contingency, Glasgow block, all of it!
No fucking shot. She?
Tame Egan was the inventor.
So I've heard.
She's the real inventor? Oh. She's the real inventor of the freaking...
Why have you never spoken of this?
I was told Kier's knowledge is for all.
That is true.
Holy shit.
That if I sought credit, I would be banished.
Holy shit. She's gonna throw it in the fire. Oh! You slut! Skank! Get out of here!
I hope you die as painfully as she did.
Oh shit, that's fucked up.
It was her hand that removed the tube, not mine.
Oh!
Your mother was a coward.
Oh, that's fucked up.
More sick in the soul than in the body.
Girl, I don't trust anything coming out of your
Filled
mouth.
with malice, and resentment.
Oh my god, well, you're full of gas and light.
I don't believe you!
Not the good kind of light.
I thought you were different, my flower. But now I see you are a weed, just as she was.
You skank.
Hey! Someone's coming!
Fuck, let's get out of here. How did she tell them where we were? Didn't we disconnect her phone? She created
Hampton.
the whole thing? Oh, he gave her his car?
Come tame these tempers of assholes.
Let's fucking go. Come tame these tempers, assholes. That is an iconic line.
So listen, Mark has been reintegrating?
We're a copy. And she hasn't killed him yet. Is Mark with you?
Yes.
Put him on.
I mean, maybe the reason why wait, okay, so that makes sense why she would recognize symptoms of reintegration, and then also
Tell me everything.
she would know. She's actually the key, isn't she? Holy shit. That's a damn good episode. That's a really damn good episode. No lie, in my body that episode was good. Wait, everything makes a lot of sense, but also like still, I don't know how I feel about Harmony right now, because she created this thing that I consider to be like a monster, but it was put into the world by the hands of someone more evil, but they never created it. That's crazy. Well, that makes sense why she wanted to be on the severed floor so bad, because like that's her baby. Like the idea of Severance is her creation. Wow. I'm hoping she can be helpful with Mark and not evil, but like I don't really know. It feels like that. It doesn't really feel like that. I don't know. I don't trust her. I'm not fully capable of trusting her right now. I don't know, but I'm also like I'm waffling on it because it's like her mom hated Lumon. This guy she just kissed hates Lumon. So there I am, like 2 + 2 = 4. Harmony should hate Lumon, right? Maybe I'm having too much hope in that. Come tame these tempers, assholes. And we'll see what happens on the next episode. I gave you so much yapping at the beginning, okay? I have done 32 minutes of yaps. So I'm not going to yap a lot at the end. If I have additional yaps, they'll be at the beginning of episode 9, which will be the penultimate episode of season 2. We are so near the end. We're not going to rush it. I will make a game time decision if I'm going to watch episodes 9 and 10 back to back. I might not. We'll just have to wait and see. Regardless, thank you for being here. And I'll see you in the penultimate.